numerous citizens committees and received numerous awards for a dedicated service to Escondido. Councilmember Dick Daniels has been an Escondido resident for nearly 20 years. He's been elected to the City Council in 2006. Councilmember Daniels has been active in many Escondido organizations, including the Chamber of Commerce, the Escondido Rotary Club, and is a founding member of the Escondido Charitable Foundation. So standing next to me is over 30 years of service and experience in the city of Escondido. I'm grateful to have them speak today about their experiences in dealing with their Proposition S, an initiative that was adopted in the city in 1998. Okay. Proposition S is very close, almost identical to Proposition O in San Marcos, which is on our ballot this November. Proposition S, though, excludes the downtown and blankets downtown of Escondido and blankets the entire city of San Marcos. So Mayor Filer and Councilmember Daniels can give us a unique insight to the challenges they face with Proposition S and the possible consequences for us in San Marcos on Prop O. So I'd like to introduce Mayor Filer.
All right, thank you. And we recognize in Escondido that this proposition affects the city of San Marcos. I think it's appropriate that one city can learn from another city. And we've had a progress in Escondido for 10 years now, and I've been on the council that entire time. And for us, our experience says that we're an older city and it takes development to build your infrastructure. And quite frequently we will have a developer come in and have an idea for a piece of property and talk about it, and we recognize that we can fill an infrastructure gap to finish the road out, continue the road. And we tell them, well, in order to do that, you're going to have to go to the ballot with Prop S. And they literally get up and walk out of campus and we never hear from them again. And so then that piece of property, when you storm it, the road has a stick out, you have infrastructure gaps that you can't complete. And so when you're thinking about trying to build out utilities and bring it and provide the quality of life, there has to be a dialogue. And having something go to the ballot has a level of time that you cannot afford and the community cannot afford it. And so that would be the challenge that you would have here in San Marcos. And I would just say that doesn't help you build a great quality of life for you. I would advise your residents to vote no on O.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. All right.
Mr. Daniels.
Well, first of all, there's a couple of things. One, Lori talked about the projects that we know about that came to Escondido, saw Prop S, and then left and went on their way to other cities. I'm concerned about the lost opportunities that we never see, we never hear of, the decisions that are made before they even come to the city because they know there's a Prop S. They know that they're going to have to go through some kind of a laborious voter approval, and given the fact that cities compete with each other for jobs and quality development to bring services and amenities to the population, it's difficult. So I just wonder over the course of 10 years, and it's hard to, there's no way to quantify this, how many people have never entered our city limits simply because it's been a problem. So that's a factor that I think San Marcos needs to take into account as they look at this proposition and really hopefully oppose it so that it won't have that concern. But the other thing is the whole notion of ballot box zoning. It's talked about quite a bit, and rightfully so, as a deterrent to something like Prop O, and we really wonder what that means when we say that that citizens really shouldn't be encumbered with minutia at the ballot box. And so what I did this morning is I went up on the internet and I downloaded a Prop S proposition that we handled back, or that came to our voters back in 2000, 2 years after Prop S went into effect. This is Prop P, which is everything that the voters would have had to have looked at in order to be able to make a decision on 3.6 acres of land in our Harmony Grove area. The proposition itself read, this is again keeping in mind voters are now looking at this along with all sorts of other ballot initiatives. Shall the Escondido General Plan or the General Plan land use category be amended for 3.6 acres north of Harmony Grove, east of Bora Place, addressed as 1978-1988 Harmony Grove Road, from the current designation of urban, that is 5.5 units per acre, to light industrial, to decrease the number of single-family units allowed from 20 to 0, and to allow approximately 63,780 square feet of industrial development, as shown on Exhibit B, which I didn't even bother to download. That's what they took a look at. And that's what they tried to decide. They had no idea what the industrial development would have been contemplated. Are we talking about a cement plant, or are we talking about an urban or an office park, or anything else that would be allowed? So it's really impractical to suggest that voters are really going to look at this and give this any kind of serious consideration. I also Googled this morning the average time that it takes typical voters that they spend in the voting booth. It's somewhere between 3.5 and 4.5 minutes. So they're looking at the candidates that they want to elect or select from the various officers. They're looking at bond propositions, and they're looking at things like this. Now, just to submit to you that this, while it sounds to some a good idea to have people make decisions on individual parcels or individual developments, the fact of the matter is, this is minutiae that the voters really have no business trying to decide to do. That's what they use, that's what they elect their elected officials to do. They don't like the land use decisions that are being made, and deal with it in terms of the elected officials when they come up for election. So I would certainly join Mayor Filer in urging you not to do what our citizens did 10 years ago in Escondido and vote no on Proposition 60 unencumbered on the sources.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. How about a hand for Escondido? Thanks for stepping up. I mean, it takes a lot to come out to another city and talk about the experiences we've had and the negative the effects of Proposition has. So, Proposition O, I think, is going to have a devastating effect on the progress that we're actually making here in San Marcos. It's going to have a negative effect on our economy, the jobs, and the amenities that the residents demand. And as Councilmember Daniels had alluded to, these elected officials actually sometimes duck behind the propositions and don't do the heavy job, the jobs of the heavy lifting that we were elected to do. Special interest groups attempt to push their narrow agendas to falsely titled and misleading propositions. This one, the Neighborhood Protection Act, other than the title, not once in the wording of the initiative doesn't even mention the word neighborhood. The people of California, I think, are sick and tired of all the propositions. Proposition O is going to beget nothing but more propositions. If Proposition O has the potential to up to 4 additional propositions and elections each year in the city of San Marcos, and at whose expense? It's going to be ours in the city of San Marcos. So I have great respect for Mayor Filer and Councilmember Daniels. Each member, actually, of the Escondido City Council has personally told me that they do not support their Prop S in their city, and that we need to defeat Prop O in San Marcos. They've done their best with working within the constraints of Proposition S, but actually it has had the opposite impact in Escondido from what supporters of Proposition O in San Marcos claim. So I want to personally thank Mayor Filer and Councilmember Daniels for coming here and sharing their experiences about Proposition S and for trying to help us out here in San Marcos. All right, thank you. No, I know. Is there questions?